Happy Friday. It is officially Super Bowl weekend. We are here. We made it to the end of the NFL season. It feels like it blew by. It feels like it went so fast this year.
Could not agree more.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I
Just
don't know if it's a podcast or what, but it felt like this year I just was like, all right, week one, let's settle in and watch some football, and now it's just over.
yeah. No, I 100% agree with you. Fall just flew by.
Yeah.
Just I guess that's how this I say this year's going, but honestly, the month of January felt like 3 years.
Forever. Yes.
So
January pumped the brakes a lot. I can't believe it's not still January, honestly, at this point. The
yeah,
first week of February felt like a minute, and the whole month of January just
yes,
you felt every day for sure.
yeah,
But yeah, we're here Friday morning, cup of sports with you. But yeah, we're gonna go over some stuff. We have a big day today. Was NBA or yesterday technically when this is posted. NBA trade deadline was yesterday at 3 p.m. So as everyone heard and all the notifications going off, lots of things happening. We are recording this Thursday night, so it is day of trade deadline. So we are currently watching NFL Honors Show.
yep,
So awaiting the MVP announcement and all that good stuff. But yeah, pretty much basketball and football, big the two heavy hitters for this episode.
yeah. Started off right. So basically, we're like halfway ish. I guess probably more like 3/4 of the way through the award ceremony.
Yep.
Jaden Daniels, Offensive Rookie of the Year. I don't think that's a surprise to anybody.
Nope.
Yeah.
No, yeah, there was really nothing. That's yeah. Bo had some considerable numbers, but it just nothing like what he did.
Yeah.
Just Jaden Daniels was incredible. Making it to the NFC Championship at that was incredible.
Agreed. Just right on point. Um, PS2,
Yeah,
defensive.
I'm super happy about that. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Broncos get a Defensive Player of the Year, AP Defensive Player of the Year, Pat Surtain. So yeah, I mean he is definitely regarded as one of the best corners in the league now. So like that's sweet to have. Like he is. People just avoid throwing the ball to his side of the field entirely. Um, when they do, it's a pick six, and so yeah, it's sick to have him out there. That we have such a legitimate defense again. Um, but yeah, I he's young too. Like that's the best part of it is that he's a young fella. So we just have to hold on to him, pay him his money, and let him stay. Like we had lost Justin Simmons earlier this year, which really sucked to the Falcons, but it was basically to make rooms to pay for Pat Surtain. So I'm all for that. So but yeah, sick that we have that. But yes, we each got an award tonight. So the Broncos get Defensive Player of the Year,
Yeah.
and you guys get
Yeah. Saquon, Offensive Player of the Year. I don't know how you would pick anybody else.
no, yeah, it's
I
as a
mean,
straight one person role,
yeah.
a one person award.
Right. Especially with giving the oh, did Jaden Daniels win Offensive Player of the Year too? He did. Offensive Player and Offensive Rookie. Yeah. Sorry, I missed that.
Oh, no, wait,
That's
Saquon won Offensive Player of the Year.
oh, you're right. You're right. You're right. Sorry.
Yeah,
Rookie
yeah.
of the
So
Year. Yeah,
yes,
yeah. And then Saquon's the
yeah,
player. Okay, got it. Sorry,
yeah.
my dog
So
just came downstairs all spastic. So Saquon, yeah, wins Offensive Player of the Year. I don't know how you select anybody else. He's
no,
just
yeah,
he
in an individual
easily
award.
should have set the single season record for rushing in a regular season.
Yep,
And then
sat out a couple.
yeah, sat out multiple second halves or fourth quarters, and then sat out an entire game in week 18. And then uh, sits out the fourth quarter of the championship game. And he's still 30 yards away from the full season, including playoffs, rushing record. So going into the Super Bowl. Comeback player of the year, Joe Burrow. I can't say I'm super surprised by that. I guess it's one way to give him something without giving him the MVP because his team sucks. Does that check
Yeah,
out?
it's probably yeah. Honestly, like what else is there really about it? Like it's they were on site. If they
Yeah,
had any luck this year or any defense at all, they would have
right.
been a real playoff team. And yeah, he just was out there throwing touchdowns to Jamar all year
Yeah.
long, and then
4 touchdowns,
immediately
three
back on the
touchdowns,
field.
five
Yeah,
touchdowns, four touchdowns.
immediately back on
L,
the field
L,
10 seconds
L.
later. Yeah, literally L after L for no reason. But it's the Bengals immediately like Joe like that's one where like it feels like a Megatron situation. Like are the Bengals gonna waste Joe Burrow's career?
Yeah.
Like this is gonna be so shitty if he's just there forever and they don't ever do anything. They just like Marvin Lewis is now Zach Taylor, whatever that dude's name is. Zach Snyder? Zach Taylor. Zach Snyder is
Zach
the
Taylor, yeah.
yeah, Zach Taylor. It threw
Yeah.
me off 'cause that's Justin Taylor's older brother's name. First time I ever recognized
Oh,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it clicked in. And I was like, wait a minute. And Zach, who else did I say? Zach Taylor, Zach
Snyder.
Snyder. He's the DC Comics guy. Um,
Yes. Gotcha.
I also, what is the difference in yards from scrimmage and yards rushing?
Yards, I guess maybe because of the handoff. It's a few yards. Is which one's higher?
The yards.
The yards
Like
rushing is higher.
I saw a tweet today that was you talked about with Saquon and his yards, and it was a tweet today that was basically CJ Chris Johnson from the Titans
Okay.
saying everyone always wants to talk about Eric Dickerson and Saquon and whatever else. He was like, no one wants to mention my 2,500 yards. He was like, it's just kind of bullshit because of the character I am essentially. And then like comments were like, yeah, well OJ had 2,000 yards in 14 games. No one ever talks about that shit either. And I was like, wait. And I just was sitting here and I was like, what were they talking about with 2,500? And I looked it up. When you're looking at Chris Johnson's stats for that year, 2009, played 16 games, started 16 games, 358 rushing attempts for 2,006 yards. But then over on the side, it says scrimmage, 408 touches for 2,509 yards from scrimmage. Oh, duh, yards from scrimmage, receiving and rushing yards. Jesus Christ. Okay. That doesn't make
That
it.
makes sense.
The way they have it was weird. Like I
Yeah.
thought it was within one category, but I see now that they have it as like a total. So 358, and then receiving, he had 50 receptions, which puts him at 408. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Then 503 yards. All right. I feel like Saquon probably was still fucking close to that this year though.
Yeah, I don't know what Saquon had, including
Because you could, yeah, because he definitely had a couple of those
Yeah.
passing ones.
had a couple of receiving touchdowns. Probably a couple.
He only had 278 yards receiving, so he's at 2,283 like all purpose is what I think they used to call
Okay.
it, and that's why it
Yeah.
fucked me up. It said yards from scrimmage, and I was like, what's the difference between yards from? I thought you were about to explain it to me like real dumb, and I was like, I'm the only one that didn't know that, but I'm glad you
No.
didn't know either. Yeah, so they reworded all-purpose yards. That's what made sense. If they just said all-purpose, I'd have been like, cool, running, receiving, catching, like running,
Yeah.
receiving, throwing. But okay, so Saquon had 2283, and obviously he still has a game left. So he could have a 200-yard game. Oh wait, no, this is regular season.
Regular season, yeah.
This is only
But
regular
again, he
season.
set out quarters. He set out.
Yeah,
a
yeah.
whole
No,
game.
yeah, I'm not discounting Saquon at all. This was more or less just like what the fuck was Chris Johnson talking about. Now I see. So like, I get it. But yeah, I mean Saquon still had a hell of a year. Like 2283 is still insane.
That's fair.
But now it makes me want to look to see Eric Dickerson's that year too. What was his all-purpose? The year with 2105, he only had 139 yards. He had 2244 all-purpose Pro Football Reference. 22. I even said it naturally. I was like, that's right. That's how you say that. You don't say yards from scrimmage. That's dumb as hell. Yeah. So Eric Dickerson in his best year had 2244, and Saquon this year had 2283. So yeah, Saquon beat Eric Dickerson's all-purpose yard record
Oh, okay.
for a season, but CJ technically holds that record. But yes, that's why he was just trying to stay relevant, and that's all. I complete side tangent, but I just remember that tweet, and I was like, "What the hell was he talking about 2,500?" Because I know he didn't have 2,500 rushing yards.
Yeah.
But yeah, but anyway, I mean,
2,500
yeah, I do miss
all-purpose yards.
Chris Johnson. Yeah, that was a
I wonder-
fucking crazy year.
I wonder if that includes returns. I don't know if he
No,
returned
just
anything,
rushing and receiving.
but-
Yeah, just rushing. When I highlighted the stat, when you highlight over, it says just rushing and receiving.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Fair
This
enough.
is receiving rushing yards. But yeah, anyway.
So I think at this point there's two awards left that people might care about. Walter Payton Man of the Year and
Yep.
MVP. So and they should come in the next half hour, but
Yeah.
may or may not be done.
Yeah.
What do you have on the Kendrick halftime show? You excited?
I am, yeah. I'm not. I've never been one that was like into like rap beefs and stuff because like I just don't care.
Right.
And, like I just don't give a shit. Like
Yeah.
it for me too. Like we grew up on like 50 Cent, so it's like if you're not gonna shoot the guy in the street, like don't talk shit. Like
Yeah.
shut the fuck up. Like why are we arguing and having rap battles and stuff? Like
Yeah.
that's never made sense to me. That like people that live that lifestyle, like it's guns and fucking violence and all that shit, and then they're like, oh, we got a beef. Let's say poetry to each other, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, you just shot a guy out in the yard because he, like, in the street because he looked at you wrong. But then this guy
Yeah.
legitimately told you your mother's a whore, and you're like, let's talk about it. Like, that's insane. I've just never understood the I'm like, it makes way more sense when people are like, all right, so you see me outside. Like, I just couldn't imagine calling
Yeah.
somebody and be like, you think you're hot as shit? Fucking meet me at the fucking studio. We're gonna rap battle this out, and then be like, yeah, I showed him. Like, that has never clicked with me, so I don't get it. But
Yeah.
Anyway, with that
I
being
definitely
said,
get where you're coming from. As
yeah, like
a
it just
huge
doesn't.
Eminem fan, though,
Oh yeah,
I
fair enough.
he's
Yeah.
involved in quite a bit.
So
Um,
that and that's what, like you think of like the 8 Mile scenario. And that's where it's
yeah,
like those are like the guys coming up and they're using that platform to get up and like the rap battling. I'm all for that. Like that
right.
makes sense. But the people that have like legitimate beefs and then
Yes.
do a diss song, it's like just go to the guy's
Yeah.
house. Like you know where he lives. Just go knock on the door. Like why are you right? Like that guy's in your head. Like you're sitting there making tunes and shit with his name on it. Like that's crazy to me.
I mean,
But yeah, like original like
look,
face to face rap battle. I feel like is like
sure, but
legitimate.
look at it from this perspective. Like you're sitting there making tunes about it, knowing that you're gonna make money off of this beef. So like it kind of works out for both of them.
So that is my point, though. That it turns into like this Jake Paul. It's just a marketing, like
Yeah.
it's Connor and Floyd just talking shit, but then immediately after being on the private jet together with a fucking Breaking Bad square of money and being like, yeah, we
I
don't
haven't
care.
got
Like,
to
who
that
gives a
episode
shit?
yet.
I showed you that meme though before where they see it. The Huel goes, I gotta do it. I can't pause that. I always think about that. I'm like, I would do it too, but you know that shit's hard as a rock. Like,
Yeah.
there's no comfort there. It's just the fact, like the idea of like smelling straight money.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that. It's essentially Connor and Floyd. Like that. That's my point though. Like it turns into this like marketing thing where they're like,
Right.
oh, we have a beef. Let's make money off of it. Like, no, if you have a beef, fucking fight. Like, punch the guy, shoot him, do something. Like,
Yeah.
not advocating violence, but advocating if you're going to be violent to not take a step back and be like, let's sing to each other. But anyway, with that all being said, it also like it feels like whether or not it's true or not, like the whole Drake being like a I don't even know if I want to say that word if we're gonna get flagged, but a pedo, like it turned me off for him so much. Like it just doing like even a little bit of research was like, oh yeah, he's kind of fucking creepy. Like I just every time a Drake song
Yeah.
comes on now, I'm just like meh, and I'll next it. When Not Like Us comes on, I'm fucking up, and then we play it 2 or 3 times. Like I just feel like I'm him in Compton, and I just play it like over and over and over. Like the boys know the song and they shouldn't, and like yeah, I got really hard onto the Kendrick side of the Drake beef to the point now where like even some of my favorite Drake songs, like they come on, and I'm just like. He's so corny, and like I just move on from like it's so stupid.
I was out immediately on Drake. I don't.
See, yeah,
I
I've
forget-
always not been a fanboy. I was never a super fanboy.
I forget
John's gonna be
who-
so upset if he listens to this episode. John's a super Drake boy.
I forget who told me, but somebody was like, "I just can't be a fan of somebody who was a actor in a wheelchair and like Degrassi or some weird show like that when we were younger."
I'm so
And-
checked out with pop culture and shit. Kaylee Goss, when she lived with me, used to watch that show religiously. His name was Wheelchair Jimmy. He got shot because like a bully or a school shooter came in and shot him in the hip or his back, and he got put in a wheelchair. His name was Wheelchair Jimmy. He's like this little skinny dude. And he rolls around.
Yeah.
And fucking like. I remembered him at that point. Had no idea. Like once years later, Lil Wayne's signing this new rapper named Drake with him and Nicki Minaj. We just were like, oh cool. And he came out with like a few of the songs. Started from the bottom, got popular. It took me way longer than everyone else was like, no, yeah, that's Degrassi Drake. And I was like, wait. The guy that was on a Nickelodeon TV show is now rapping about starting from the bottom.
Yeah.
Like that was one where right away I
Yes.
was like, okay, yeah, I'm kind of out on this. Like I'm not
Uh-huh.
fanboy. But then he had a few songs that were bops. Like I'll give it to him. Like God's Plan, I love that one. Like back to back with Meek Mill, the whole Meek Mill beef, like that one, like that was fun. But like again, it was like, can you guys just show up and fight? Like why are we doing this? Like this is just silly. But like we got some good songs out of it. So again, yeah, like in the marketing scheme, I'm all for the beefs. But for like it being a legitimate beef is just silly. But yeah, anyway, like you said, somebody told you that he was in that show,
Yeah,
and
somebody
it's like
told me,
right
and I was
away you're like,
immediately out.
yeah, you're like,
Even
oh,
his songs
gangster
that were,
rapper.
even
Yes.
those, yeah, I was like, I can't. I just,
Yeah,
I
it's
can't.
just I used to do it all the time where people would just always
Two
like
and
Drake's
two
the
don't go to four.
Drake's the best ever, and I'm like, you mean Wheelchair Jimmy? Like the guy that was on Degrassi, like the show. Like literally, I would get home from work or like running around or whatever, and Kaylee would be watching Degrassi, and we would just roll up and smoke and watch and play Call of Duty, and she would watch me play Call of Duty because she'd be sitting there fucking eating snacks. Like, oh, get him, like that. That was her entertainment for the night. I'd get home and she'd be watching that show all the time. So like, as I'm sitting there rolling blunt, she just would have Degrassi on. I'm like, can we please just fucking put anything else on?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I knew Wheelchair Jimmy pretty well. But yeah, anyways, yeah, I'm super excited for Kendrick. I think it'll be a really good show. I think nothing's really going to compare to like the Dre 50 Mary J. Blige Eminem Snoop Dogg show. Like that
no.
one's gonna that's just
Yeah.
especially for like our age
In
group
LA,
and everything
like,
in LA.
no.
Yeah, like that. It's SoFi Stadium the first
Yeah.
year the Rams play it. Like yeah, that Super Bowl is gonna always be a long standing one. But
I remember that Super Bowl vividly because I was on a cruise over the Super Bowl. And Jamie was like, don't you want to watch the game? I was like, no, I want to watch the halftime show. She was
I
like,
think I
what?
really got to get to the halftime show.
Yeah, and I was like, no. I was like, I could care less about the game. I want to go watch the halftime show, and I did. They had it on in like their big auditorium thing, It was just like this huge party, and
Yeah,
I
which
walked
is the
in,
best.
watched the halftime show, turned around, and walked out. Could care
Yeah,
less about the
dude.
game.
Yeah, it is the best.
The
I have to. Yeah, that was like
yeah,
one of the best halftime shows. And obviously, like Janet's titty getting ripped out, like that was an iconic moment.
yeah,
Like there are just like so many crazy ones, but like I think Kendrick will definitely put on a solid show.
for
I
sure.
am, however, sad that they didn't do Lil Wayne. Like in Louisiana, like it
Yeah,
should have just been Wheezy. Like that's just silly. So I'm hoping Kendrick brings Wheezy out or something. But I don't know if we've talked about that on the show before. Jay Z is part of the Super Bowl halftime committee. He's like the board chairperson
oh,
for
I
the
didn't know
Super
that.
Bowl halftime. He determines who is like the halftime show. So then everyone was like, Jay Z and Drake actually have a long-standing beef. Like they've never done a song together. Like Jay
Oh
Z
yeah,
does not like Drake. Like that's like a poser in the community kind of
yeah,
thing. And so they were like, there's no way that he's gonna let Kendrick bring Wayne on because, or let Kendrick bring Wayne on stage because Wayne will bring Drake with him. And then the rumor was like, well, no, this is gonna be how they squash their beef. Like Kendrick's gonna bring Drake
mm,
out at the halftime show because the views and the viralness of it will be fucking incredible if they
yeah.
just pop out and do a song together. So yeah, so I'm excited to see it, even if it's just. I'm hoping it's just Kendrick and there's nothing like that. But I mean, it'd be sick for Wayne to pop out there. That'd be so badass in New Orleans. Like they would
Yeah,
just go nuts. So
I guess we'll see. For what it's worth, we did forget this award. Kevin
oh
O'Connell,
yeah, yep, O'Connell.
just won Coach of the Year. So congrats to the Vikings. Honestly, I kind of think he deserves it. Um,
Yeah, I know
I'm
quarterback like that's.
I'm very biased, obviously, with Nick Sirianni, and but I think that's more just because of the hate he gets for
Yep.
his record.
Yeah.
But he did a hell of a job this year, so props to that man. Because like JJ McCarthy goes down, and you bring in Sam Darnold and make him a superstar and go into the playoffs. Sure, you got hit, but um, the year they had is definitely worth it. Moving along though, what everybody is waiting for, Super Bowl predictions.
Yeah. The good stuff.
Just
Before
run,
we do our game. Oh wait, go ahead. Run through. Go ahead.
yeah, just run through the bet stuff for now. So currently the money line is -1. The Chiefs. It did open at 1.5 for the Chiefs, meaning quite a bit of money has come in on the Eagles.
Right.
They
Yeah.
moved it
Minus
down.
one.
Money line is still -120 for the Chiefs, even for the Eagles, so
Yeah.
plus 100. Over under is set to 48.5, opened at 49.5, so that means there's quite a bit of betting on the under to come down 1 point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I heard. I was around. Where do I even start with this? I was around somebody the other day who doesn't know football and started talking football, and like
oh,
I don't
that's
know
what's
them
fun.
well. She literally was like, "Yeah, like I heard that like the Chiefs, like they have a chance to do like something that no one's ever done before. They won three Super Bowls in a row, and Patrick Mahomes did this and did this and did something." I
Mahomes.
was like, "What the fuck?" And then the other girl was like, "Did you just say Mahomes?" And she was like, "Yeah." She was like, "I'm pretty sure it's Patrick Mahomes or something." And I was like, what am I listening to right
Where am
now?
I?
Where am I? Like, what am I doing right now? Like, I was about to like engage in conversation. Then I heard Patrick Mahomes, and I was like, "Is that your fantasy football name, or are you just dumb?" I was like, if that's your fantasy football name, we're friends. Like, that's
Yeah,
hilarious. Like, let's talk. You know enough to make that reference, but if you just accidentally butchered the probably the most famous person in the NFL's name just now, like, the fuck are we doing here? They were talking about it, and then yeah, they were talking about like who was gonna win and shit, and it just was like they said that were like one of them said that they said something about the points being scored, and the other one, the one that said Mahomes, was like, "Do you think that the Eagles are going to let them score that many points though?" And I was like, "How the fuck do you know how many points the Eagles are going to score?" It's like you just called the quarterback the wrong. Like, who's the coach? Tell me who the Chiefs coach is right now. Tell me what kind of defense Andy Reid runs. Like I was like, get the fuck out of here. Like it's cute and it's adorable and I appreciate new fans, but like it was hilarious hearing that conversation of Patrick Mahomes might win. It sounds like they've done. I think they said yeah. She was like they. That's what she said too. She said he'll be the first player to ever win three Super Bowls in a row, and I was like. The whole fucking team is gonna be the first team to win three Super Bowls in a row. Like, dog, I was like, oh my god, where? Literally, I was like, where am I right now? What am I listening to?
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was
I
great.
do always enjoy the week before the Super Bowl because it's like
Everyone comes out of the woodworks.
yeah, everybody starts talking about it and they're asking about it, and like it's just so entertaining to just
Yeah.
listen to everybody talk.
I was at Chipotle. That's I popped my head. That's where it was. I was literally I had my back turned. I was doing something, and I heard her talking about. I was getting ready to like turn, and then they started talking about it, and I like turned back around. They started talking about being rigged and Mahomes, the first player to do three in a row, and I was like, Oh my god! Don't. I was like, please don't ask me any question. Like, don't ask me who do you think is gonna win? Because like I was like, I just don't even want to get involved in this
Yeah,
at all. Like, there's no
fair,
good for me to have this conversation. But
fair enough.
other than that though, so you did the fun, the good stuff for the bets. Some of the other ones that are hilarious that I love like looking at are like what color the Gatorade are gonna be, how long the national anthem's gonna be,
Yes.
final note length, so how long for the final national anthem, how long they hold that
Oh
note,
wow.
currently over under set at 3.5 seconds. Kickoff temperature, Kendrick Lamar's first song, Kendrick Lamar's last song, whether or not Drake's face will be shown on the jumbotron. Total number of songs for Kendrick, over under at 10.5.
That's so wild.
There's a Taylor Swift bet, whether or not Travis Kelce will propose following the game. Jason Kelsey's outfit, neutral, supporting Philadelphia, supporting Kansas City. What color Gatorade on the coach?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of good ones this year. I was like, those are really fun. There's a lot of really fun ones in there.
Yeah. I always do enjoy putting down like a 50-cent bet on heads or tails for the Super Bowl. I don't know why.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just fun.
Heads are for me. Heads or tails and the Gatorade color are the two I really like. I
Yeah.
love those two because like the Gatorade color is one where like yes, people could get involved in that, and if there's billions of dollars on a color, like the team coordinator guy could be like, I'm definitely doing blue Gatorade. I have 100,000 on this. Like there's no shot anyone's touching this Gatorade container until it gets poured at the end. But like there are then the idea of like if Jalen Hurts wants orange Gatorade, he's getting fucking orange Gatorade. Now that dude's in a panic because he's like, I didn't know Jalen liked orange. What do you mean he wants orange? So like that, there is like that, like we talked about earlier, like
Yeah.
the lack of consistency with like
Right.
NFL MVP voting and shit. Like that, there is actually like some stipulation there that could fuck that guy over. So like, yeah, I like that. Like it's not a whole group of people that are like, it has to be blue Gatorade.
That's
Yeah. So the Gatorade one I really like. We also heads or tails. That's one too. Where like there's no fixing it. Like it
Yeah.
just is what it is. It's a
Yeah.
50-50 shot.
Yep.
All right. I think that's it for football. Super Bowl. Who do you got?
Who do I have? My God.
Who do you think? Who do you think's doing? He said Eagles by
I-
50. Go Birds. Dilly dilly.
I have a lot of money on the Eagles. And I
Oh,
think
that's
my biggest spread, because one of the things I really enjoy betting is alternate spreads, just way off.
Yeah.
Today I put down probably my easily my biggest spread for the Super Bowl because it's about as far as I go. I put $20 down on the Eagles minus 6.5. Eagles win by a touchdown.
how much does that pay out though?
It's like $280 or something.
Damn,
like that.
yeah,
it's not
that's
a
pretty-
ton, but
No, but I mean, still, that's
but yeah.
a 10 times increase is
Yeah.
enough. Like that's yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, Eagles by a touchdown. I could see it, dude. Like, yeah, the Chiefs could kind of like they have had a stale year. Like they have not
Yeah.
been the powerhouse offense that they've been all of the past, and you guys have a fucking hell of a defense. So
I definitely get where everybody's coming from in that you don't bet against Patrick Mahomes.
right, yeah,
Just similarly, I never bet against Tom Brady until he played the Eagles.
yeah, and then
and
so you kind of got it. That
yeah.
and that's
so
Josh Allen just won MVP.
he did, yes. I was gonna leave it till the end, but yeah,
Oh my bad! I
it's
just it
okay.
popped up in my face. I saw it. I was like, oh shit, he's there.
yeah,
But yeah, so yeah, I think that the only hold up I have is sorry, I got distracted by the offensive lineman doing a dance. That was funny as hell. The only thing that like turns me off to picking the Eagles is like we've talked about all year is like prove to me you can beat them. And
Yeah.
so like right now we're in that situation where like the last time you guys met here you didn't. And but like they're two completely different teams. Like their momentums are different. But like at the end of the day, prove to me you can beat them. So like
Yeah.
is this the game where the Eagles prove that they can beat the Chiefs? And like I fucking hope so. Like I'm rooting for the Eagles. Like I said, Joe has been talking about when do the Eagles play? When do the Eagles play? When's the Super Bowl all week? And so I'm like, dude, fuck yes! Like this is gonna be so awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. So he's locked in. He's super excited for it. So yeah, I'm hyped for Sunday, and I'm rooting for the Eagles. I have that slight belief that it's gonna be like fucking Chiefs again, but. I'm
Yeah.
rooting for you guys. I'm pulling for you guys. I'm rooting hard for Jalen and
You and
Saquon.
probably
I want,
the rest of the country. outside
yeah,
of
I want
Missouri and maybe
Jalen to
Dallas,
do one of those
Texas.
fucking New Orleans jukes and send somebody out of their shoes and fucking score a touchdown. Like, yeah, we need some of that on Sunday for sure. But
No,
yeah, so
I'm very excited for it. I think
yeah, I think it'll be a hell of a game regardless. I don't think it's
Yeah.
going to be a blowout either way. I think
No.
it's going to be a tight
no,
fucking
not
game.
at all. Look, the Super Bowl is very rarely as a blowout, and when you get those when you get those 2 weeks to prepare, it's gonna be something.
We had to have been
And
like the last. We had to be the last blowout for like the end the last like 20 years. Like I don't remember a Super Bowl that was so fucking lopsided. Dude, I could just see
yeah,
Payne's dumb fucking face with that ball hit him in the helmet. He said, and I was like, no. I literally sat there and I literally sitting there praying. I was like, come on. And I saw the ball hit and fumble, and I just went, oh my god, oh my fucking god.
yeah,
Yeah. So,
get that.
but
It's
yeah,
probably how I felt when Jalen fumbled against the Chiefs and they returned it for the touchdown
yeah.
in
He was just like,
last game,
no, yeah,
2 years ago.
yeah. So,
But yeah, my money is on the Eagles. I take the Eagles big. By big I mean a touchdown, not super big.
I mean that is big though.
It is for the Super Bowl, yeah. But if you had to pick uh, a spread, what do you take? A minus
Uh,
spread, I should say. So how much does you're rooting for the Eagles?
yeah, see, I get
Say
like,
somebody gave you $10 to put on it and said you have to pick a half point interval. What are you taking? Not your money. You get to play around.
yeah, I mean, yeah, if it's not my money, I'm definitely going Eagles because like it's the want of the Eagles, and then it's like a double win. But then it's also that thing of like, well, if I bet on the Chiefs and then they win, I get money. If the Eagles win, the Chiefs lose, so it's a win-win regardless. Like
Sure.
it's one of those. But yeah, I mean, yeah, honestly, yeah, my official prediction, give me the Eagles by 2.5. I see them winning like a 27-24, 24-21 kind of game, like it being tight. But Chiefs up 21-17, Jalen puts it in 24-21, game over kind of thing.
Okay.
So. Yeah, I'll give you guys a field goal. I'll give Eagles minus 2.5. I think is my comfortable spread.
Yeah.
I
You
don't know
also
that it
taking
gets
the
that.
under with that score?
What was he under? 48.
48 and a half now.
Ooh, fuck. Yeah, see, 27-24 puts me over. 24-21 puts me under. Shit. Yeah, I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's probably. Uh, See, I feel like it is over because I feel like both offenses are end up high powered than the defenses, and I think the defense get their day, but I think the offenses get in the end zone a couple of times. Like they're both going to be, it's going to be 14-21 and a half or 14-10 or some shit. Like there's going to be some points on the board by halftime, and then I think there'll be a couple of scores in the third quarter where everyone's out there and it's high flying, everyone's running fast off the break, and then the fourth quarter will start to get real crunch time.
All right.
But yeah, I'm
So,
hoping that like I love Andy Reid and I don't mind Mahomes and like I like Kelsey. I just don't want the Chiefs to fucking win. Like, I just want the
yes,
Chiefs to win.
I
Like,
agree.
I feel
If
weird. I feel weird rooting for the Eagles, but like I just don't want the Chiefs. It could be anybody else, and I just don't want
there's
the Chiefs to win.
there's two if conditions to me wanting the Chiefs to win. First, they're playing the Eagles, so obviously I don't. The second one is not for a three-peat. I'm just over it. Like
Yes, yeah,
back
yeah,
to
yeah.
back, great. Now let somebody
See,
else in.
I
Come
am
back
kind of
before year four, great. I'll go for you again.
I am
Um,
kind of torn on that though, because then it's like, will we ever see that again in our lifetime? Like maybe, maybe not. And so it's like
yeah,
it's one of those things where it's like if they win, like that's cool, we got to watch it. So in 30 years, when a team wins two, like remember that time the Chiefs won three, we can be like, yeah. But like it sucks to be like, yeah, I fucking remember that. Like, yeah, I want to
for me
remember
it does. 'Cause
good.
two
Yeah,
of them
exactly. 'Cause, yeah,
it's the
you're gonna be like,
Eagles.
yeah, that's great. It's fucking Eagles, and then
Yeah,
49ers
like yeah,
Eagles. Like
I
yeah,
remember it very well
we
actually.
handed them two of the three for the three-peat.
Yeah.
So
Um,
but yeah, I
for
think
what it's
that's
worth, though, everybody points to the Eagles tore down the Patriots dynasty after they beat
mhm.
them in the Super Bowl. So
Time
maybe
to
the
do it to the
Eagles can do it again
Mahomes.
and do it to Patrick Mahomes and the
Beat the
Chiefs.
Chiefs. Chris Jones retires. Travis Kelsey gets traded. Mahomes is dog shit. The
I don't
Broncos
think.
rise to
I think
number one in
Travis
the
Kelsey
AFC West.
retiring is more likely than
Yeah, probably. Chris
him
Jones
getting
gets
traded.
traded. No, they're both gonna retire. Actually, Kelsey and Jones will probably retire if they
Yeah,
complete the three-peat. Like, why not?
yeah. But so those are our predictions. If I had to
That's
take a score, I'm gonna take Eagles 31.
Chiefs 5.
Chiefs. I wish. Chiefs 27. 4 point game.
31-27. Yes, yes. I think 2.5, 3.5 point spread is comfy, but like, yeah, I definitely I'm taking unders on those. Like at that point, I'm not going any higher.
Um,
Oh,
but I don't know about you, but my phone blew up with the
all day.
NBA this afternoon.
All day. Yeah, I was buzzing all day. I
Um,
have I got a new phone like 6 months ago, and I did that dumb thing where I was like, oh, I'll set up all my notifications then. So as I'm signing into all the apps, I hit allow notifications. Today was like the first day that I really regretted it. NBA, SleeperBot, ESPN, all at the same time, three messages at a time, dude. And then now for the award ceremony,
Yeah.
SleeperBot, NFL, ESPN, every one of the awards, like, and I'm watching it on my phone, and it's like, what annoys me is that sometimes one is faster than the other. So I
Yes.
feel weird getting rid of one of them because then I'm like, well, that one, it'll be like 8 minutes ago, Josh Allen wins MVP, and then 2 minutes ago, Josh Allen wins MVP, 1 minute ago, Josh Allen wins MVP, and it's like, well, ESPN won that one, but then the very next thing, I'm like, well, fucking NBA app had that early. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm inundated with notifications today, but they were fun, and it was good to get all of them. Um, Lots of crazy shit happened. So I mean, yeah, we had
Did.
Luca to the Lakers the other night, which was crazy.
Yeah.
Rumors have come out about that. Still can't find out who the mystery team was that the Mavericks reached out to for a 1-to-1 superstar swap, and they said no. Still think it's the Celtics. They wanted Jaylen Brown. We said fuck off. Luca to the Lakers was supposed to be Luca for Anthony Davis and 2 first-round picks and Dalton Connect. It was supposed to be straight up like that. 2 players
Oh,
and two
wow.
first-round picks. Rob Pelinka convinced the Mavericks that Luca's drinking problem, his weight issues, and his lack of health made it like a concerning trade. So he talked them down in the value of the player he was getting. They agreed, lightened the trade, and he got away with fucking highway robbery. Basically, traded 1 first-round pick, Anthony Davis, and then like a couple of role players, but got Luca. So ended up keeping an additional first-round pick and Dalton Connect, who they then used to flip to the Hornets for Mark Williams. So yeah, Rob Pelinka out there doing Howie Roseman shit pretty much. Like he just finessed the fuck out of the Mavericks for that deal. If Luca stays healthy, that's the big caveat.
Right. I just need to throw a note in here because it confuses the shit out of me when they're like, "This was a 5-team deal," and I'm just like,
Dude,
"Why?
how?
Yeah.
How? How? If I wouldn't have
It's
played
just
with so
such
many trade,
commonplace that
if
I
I
just
wouldn't
don't
have played with
understand.
so much of the trade simulator stuff in 2K, I wouldn't understand it either. But after
Yeah.
playing, because they used to let you do like the 3-team trade stuff,
Oh,
and so
okay.
it really is like it's like an accounting balancing sheet. Like everyone's got to
Yeah.
hit green at the bottom, and so you're just moving pieces around and checking salary caps and all that shit. But the other day, like what you're talking about though, there was a situation where Dennis Schroeder was traded to somebody, was planning on to the Jazz, was planning on playing for that team. Somebody else was supposed to go to the Raptors as part of that deal. They failed a physical or something, and they couldn't go to the team. So then the deal was about to be like gone. So like Jimmy Butler wouldn't have went to the Warriors. So then the Heat had to call around and find another player for him to go to. So like there are times where everyone agrees to it and it's contingent upon one thing, and then
Yeah.
one thing goes wrong, and then now they got to scramble and figure it out. So Dennis Schroeder was supposed to play for the Jazz, and then ended up getting traded to the Pistons. So like there are moves that happen, and then they're like multiple moves in the same day. Danny Ainge, who is a famous Celtic, also used to be our GM,
Yeah.
part of like the big
I
three,
recognize
the
the name.
Paul Pierce and all that.
Names
He used to be
of GM.
he's a hell of a shooting guard. He played in the Space Jam movie. He was our GM for a while. Brought Brad Stevens in, did all that stuff. He left to go be like the vice president of operations for the Jazz. He was part of the deal with the Mavs. The Mavs were working on trading salary cap and picks to the Jazz. Danny Ainge hates the Lakers. Lifetime Celtic, hates the Lakers, would never do anything to help them. The Mavericks purposely didn't tell him that part of the deal was to then help them get Luca to the Lakers, or else he wouldn't have done it because they wouldn't have helped them get Luca to the Lakers. So the Mavs didn't tell Danny Ainge that they were trading certain things to get picks freed up and salary cap freed up to get Luca to the So then afterwards, Danny Ainge was like, "If I would have known that, I would have even done the trade." And so it was just like that's so fucking crazy. So yeah, the NBA gets so nitty gritty with it, and I love it. But yeah, so Luca to LA, big deal. Everyone heard about that. Jimmy Butler, the saga is over in Miami. He and
For the next
Andrew
few years.
Wiggins get swapped. A couple other players and some picks involved too. Kyle Anderson ends up on the Heat. There were rumors that KD was going to get swapped with Jimmy Butler. Kevin Durant to the Heat would have been sick. Butler on the Suns, I feel like just would have done anything. Brandon Ingram, who's been playing for the Pelicans for a few years, got traded to the Raptors. So everybody from Zion's rookie year is now gone. Steven Jackson, Eric Bledsoe, Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, all gone. All play for different teams now, or in China for Eric Bledsoe. Kevin Durant, the Grizzlies called the Suns about Kevin Durant and said, "We're going to trade for him. We want to make the trade." The Suns went to Kevin Durant and said, "If we trade you there, are you going to sign an extension?" And he said, "No." So the Grizzlies said, "Okay, never mind." So the Grizzlies almost had Kevin Durant, but Kevin said, "You can trade me, but I'm not going to sign an extension. You'll get me for the rest of this year, and I'm fucking out." So he had no interest in playing in Memphis, which is always just hilarious. Tonight, actual gameplay. Actually, no, still trades. De'Aaron Fox went to San Antonio. They won their first game there. Part of that trade was Zach LaVine to the Kings. The Thunder landed Daniel Tice. They also are like the best team in the league right now and don't have Chet Holmgren, which is like one of the top 20-ish players in the league. So the Thunder are only going to get better. They're a really scary team to watch for the next few months. The Bucks, kind of hilarious because I know Giannis and Dame Lillard were really expecting some help, and they ended up with Kyle Kuzma, which is hilarious. He's just not good. They lost somebody what I would feel is better than Kyle Kuzma and Chris Middleton, and got Kyle Kuzma. So not sure how that worked out for them, but yeah, tons of trades, all kinds of shit happened today. Like
Poor
you said,
Dame,
no,
I feel like he's had that his whole life,
dude.
right?
Yeah, he was in Portland and they just never got him any help.
Yeah,
He gets traded. He has to go to Miami or the Lakers or the Suns or something, and the Blazers traded him to the fucking Bucks in Milwaukee. He was miserable. Like you could just tell his
Yeah.
press conference, he was just like happy to be here, and it was like, damn, that guy wants to kill himself. Um, and so yeah, so they had like a mediocre season, and then now this was the moment where the Warriors know that Steph could be on his way out if they don't help him, and the Bucks know that Giannis could be on his way out if they don't help him. They both were calling everybody. Like that was the report that the Warriors had called pretty much every team with every superstar available. Like they even tried to get Kevin Durant to come back to the Warriors and trade for him. Like they were doing everything to get
Yeah.
Steph help because they know Steph is going to leave, and
Right.
so they ended up with Jimmy Butler, which I do not think is the answer. And that is like the big takeaway that I have from this is that like I don't know that Luka's the answer in LA, but I feel like Jimmy is definitely not the answer in Golden State. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I love Jimmy Butler, and everyone always calls him like a locker room cancer and shit. I feel like he's just had like the raw end of the deal where he played for like multiple bad franchises, but like now is to the point where it's like, all right, bud, like
Yeah.
at a certain point you gotta shut the fuck up and play. Like there is some like you just gotta do it on the court and not keep talking. So yeah, Jimmy Butler to the Warriors is going to be crazy. Him and Steph together is going to be wild, but like I don't know. I just don't see that like working out super duper well. But who am I to say? Other than that, gameplay tonight. Boston lost to the Mavericks earlier. No Anthony Davis. No somebody else. I forget who else wasn't playing. We should have won that game and we lost. That was super embarrassing. So finals rematch and we lost tonight. And that was terrible. Right now, Lakers and the Warriors are playing. No Jimmy Butler. No Anthony Davis. No Luca. Like all the players that just got traded aren't playing yet.
Yeah.
So um, couple of quick notes on stats though. Jason Tatum, 25, 5, and 5 in average. First Celtic to do it since Larry Bird and John Havlicek. Um, Jokic is cooking. Feels like no one's paying attention to it because it's just like expected. Like
He's
when
still
Russell
in
Westbrook,
Denver, right?
yeah, and he's just cooking. He is just having like his best statistical year, but like no one's talking about it because like Jimmy Butler and Kevin Durant, and LeBron and Bronny and like all this other shit's going on. But like Jokic is out there fucking balling again. And then other big news. This one is for you. Last night Anthony Edwards scored 49. Super random fun note. But aside from that, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, the one I was talking to you about, has now scored 50 points 3 Wednesdays in a row. He scored 56, 54, and 50 points. And everyone was like, what the fuck is happening? Like, it's just hum day is his fucking day. He got benched for the fourth quarter, and they asked him, they were like, how do you feel about this? And he said, could have been 70. Like, that was just his answer. Like, he just was like, I could have had fucking 20 more if they didn't bench me. Like, yeah, he is cooking right now. And so, yeah, he's just such a fun player to watch. He's such a cool guy. Like, I told you about that video with him sharing the fucking jersey with the kid. And yeah, so it's the NBA's in a good spot right now. I'd say it sucks that none of us pay attention to it for the first 4 months, but now I'm here and I'm locked in. It's trade deadline. It's All Star weekend next weekend. Like, yeah, it's all happening. But
Okay.
with that though, All Star weekend, the All Star teams got picked, so they started the new
drafted
format
teams
this
today.
year. Kenny, Chuck, Shaq, and Candace Parker draft their teams. Candace gets the Rising Stars team. Kenny, Chuck, and Shaq pick a draft. I had to look at it like 5 times because how in the fuck did this work out like this? Are you looking at the teams right now?
I was getting ready to pull him up. Yeah.
Yeah, you type in All Star teams and hit images or whatever, you'll see it. Look at Shaq's team. How in the fuck did they let Shaq get away with that? Like the other teams are solid, but not like that. I just don't understand. Like that is literally a team I would build in 2K. Like that's the team I build with turning trade cap off, turning trade negotiate, like difficulty of trade off, GM mode on. Like that's the shit LeBron, Steph, Anthony Davis, Jason Tatum, Kevin Durant. Like that right there is an incredible starting 5. And then like Team Kenny, like he has Anthony Edwards, and then it just falls off. And then like Chuck has Jokic, Antetokounmpo, Shea, and Victor, which is sweet, but like after that falls off. Like Shaq legitimately has 8 fucking Hall of Fame players, and everyone else was like, "No, I'm just gonna pick some fun people." I was like, "Dude, I don't know how the fuck they let Shaq do it." Like, I'm sure Shaq got to his pick again and was like, "No one took KD." Like, check. Like, came back around again. He was like, "No one took Steph." Like, yeah, it's just it's crazy that it got to that. But yeah, Shaq's team I think is gonna fucking dominate this year. So
You think?
I think so. I think LeBron, Steph, KD on the same court is wildly impossible to guard. Like I don't know.
3v3, right?
No, I'm just saying it is. Yeah,
5-on-5. Okay.
I think so. I think it is still 5v5. It's just yeah, they do the short 2 games and then the championship game for the little 14 bracket thing. But yeah, so it's these 3 and then the Rising Stars team. But yeah, I don't know how you guard a team with.
Okay, so hear me out. I look at this roster and think, with maybe the exception of 2 players, being the 2 that play for the Celtics and Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, they're all old.
They are old. That is. I was gonna say Chuck is like the next best one. I don't know what the fuck Kenny was doing, but Chuck feels like the next best one. Where it's like you have Giannis, you have Shea, you have Jokic, you have Donovan Mitchell, and then you have a bunch of like good players to fill in there. You have Victor. So like Victor and Jokic like are gonna be weird to play together though. Victor, Jokic, and Antetokounmpo all on the court together is 3 ginormous players. Like they're not guarding KD speed, LeBron speed. Like that's just that I feel like is the mismatch. And then Kenny's team, to your point, is the young team. Like he's got the young stars. Jalen Brunson, Cade Cunningham, Anthony Edwards, Darius Garland. Like looking at his team again, honestly now, like they may be, because they are going to be springy. They will be dunking. They will be throwing lobs. So
Interesting. We'll see how it works out.
the first comment on Instagram is Chuck has the top 3 players in the league on one team. Shaq has Braun, Curry, and KD, and I think Kenny was smoking crack during the draft. I mean, yeah, he picked a bunch of young studs, so we will see. Yeah, this person said the same thing I did. Jokic, Giannis, Shea, and Wemby on the same team is diabolical. Why so much height? Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, everyone else is saying, yeah, Team Shaq, Team Shaq, Team Shaq. So yeah, KD, LeBron, and Curry. That's basically the Team USA team. And like, who the fuck is stopping that? You have JT, JB, LeBron, KD.
You're not
That's
wrong.
even. Yeah, you throw James Harden and Damian Lillard in there as backup players. Like, yeah, that's a tough day at the office for a bench player. But yeah, I mean it was an interesting day. I had fun. I love trade deadline day. It was like 2:15. I started getting all the notifications, and I literally just stopped what I was doing. I opened up ESPN and NBA and just sat there, and I was just like, "Feed me, tell me what you got." I think this is what I want to hear.
That's a lot of fun. I don't know how much you care about it, and if I'm being honest, I don't know all of that much about it. But I did get the alert, so I figured I'd pop it in there. Canelo Alvarez, I believe, agrees to fight Jake Paul May 3rd in Las Vegas with a 200-pound weight limit on streaming on Netflix.
It was one of those moments where I was like, I want that 2 seconds it took me to read that notification back in my life. Like, I didn't deserve to hit my phone. I'm mad that I read it. And this is that shit I'm talking about where it's like, is Canelo just bored? And Jake called him and said $100 million for a fight. And Canelo said, fuck, I'll lose a fight for $100 million. Like, I don't like the YouTuber turned football or YouTuber turned boxer. I don't like the Degrassi turned rapper. Like I don't like those setups. It's hard to believe the authenticity of it.
Yeah.
And so like that's where I'm struggling with these is that like there's just no, and like after the Super Bowl, everyone posts pictures on Twitter and this ref winked at this guy and it's rigged and blah 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 blah. So like that's fine, I get that, but like for me it's like watching the boxing things and seeing people like wink and like nod their head and shit and take dives and stuff like I'm not super wild on it, but here's the thing though, it's on Netflix. I already paid for it, so I'm probably gonna watch it. Like I'll probably watch it, but
Right.
it just is like I can't believe that that's actually happening.
Let's see. May 3rd is a Saturday, so
Yeah. What time is it?
I don't know that they announced the time, but it's in Vegas,
Okay.
so it'll probably be like 11
Yeah,
or
10 or
something.
11. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably end up watching it just to fuck around. But yeah, it's just one of those ones where I can't get behind it. Like I can't.
Yeah.
There's no part of me that's like this is a true showdown of champions. Like it's just this is a marketing exhibition. Like they're just pretending. Like it's just
Somebody's got to make the money, right?
it
Not
pretty
you or
much
me.
is like if Alvarez knocks Jake Paul out, I'm like that was real. But if Jake Paul knocks Alvarez out, I'm like that was fake. That was a marketing stunt. Like there's no way that I could trick my brain to believe it otherwise. So yeah, but yeah, fun trade deadline. I had tons of fun today.
LeBron. Okay.
LeBron James.
Um.
Oh, did you see him dunk it? Is that what you were doing?
Yep, that's what I was watching.
God. Ugh.
You got anything else for me?
No, LeBron's a fucking super lab.
For what
Fucking
it's worth, we did
freaking
the awards
major.
are over, and Eric Armstead of the 49ers won Walter Payton Man of the Year.
Okay.
Don't really know what he did besides read books to a bunch of kids because that's all I could watch while we were
We were
recording.
recording. I'm sure he did a
No
ton of
follow-up.
other shit too.
Yeah.
Like $100 million to science funding. Well, he read some books to kids.
Yeah. So props to him. Props to every team. It's probably my favorite award just to go through and see what all these different guys do.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah. I
just
like
to
that
see
they
the
have like
good
one
that comes out
nomination
of
for
it.
each team and all that
Yeah.
stuff too. Like there's like some drive for each team to try to get to it or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's not just a random award that only the best. Like you're not getting an MVP on a 2-15 football team, but like you might
Right.
win Walter Payton the man of the year on a 2-15 football
Yeah.
team. Like that matters not at all. So
I 100% agree with you.
um
You ready for a fun fact?
give me what you got.
All right. Give me one or two. I can't decide between two of them.
Me 3 because Steph Curry just touched the ball.
No. I need one.
One or two. You did just say one or two. It's so funny because I looked at LeBron. And I said, "Let me get 3 because LeBron was 23." Then I was like, "Wait, no, it doesn't make sense." And then I went 3 for Curry. All right, let me do 2.
Two. All right. The
No reason
last
at all.
wild cow died in 1627.
Now, how the fuck do they know that? How does that work?
Because everything else is domesticated. So there's a population
I mean, I
of
guess
wild
that
cows
makes
somewhere.
sense. I guess that
that-
makes sense. Like, because you've never seen a wild cow. Like, I've never just been in the woods and been like, "Oh shit, a cow." Like, your first thought immediately is that broke out of a farm.
Right. Yeah. So the last wild cow.
Damn, that's crazy. I feel like there's got to be like some fields out in fucking Montana or some shit that there's just cows roaming around that they're technically wild. Like, how do that's mean? Like, how do they know that like they're all just gone?
Um,
I don't know. Yeah, see, I don't like those things. I don't like the statistics of those kind of things because they're gonna do. It's probably gonna be like a per 10,000ths, and like there's. It's one of those ones where it's like there's still 4,000 of them around, but we call it the number of per acreage or whatever, so they're not technically there or some dumb shit. But I guess I do see that though, because yeah, like when's the last time you were driving around? It's like yeah, if I saw a cow literally anywhere at all in any scenario, my
Yeah.
first thought would be a farmer is walking around with a rope trying to
So-
find him.
so to be fair, I don't know where cows originated from. But essentially they had to start somewhere before they were domesticated and spread throughout the world by humans.
Right.
So they have a natural roaming territory at some point.
Yeah.
And
That's my thing, too,
then
is, like-
so that narrows down the world population to wherever that natural territory is, and then
Yeah.
from there you just kept taking them because you need domestication, leaving only a small population left, and that's probably what happened. Is
That's
that
it. That's I feel like it's got to be a minute number of my wild cows where they go, hey, there's none left, but like there are technically some out there. Like, because like think about like if a farmer dies and like the whole cow population just roams out, like you're telling me none of them repopulated out in the wild at all. Like they all got caught and redomesticated.
I guess that also goes into the conversation of what makes it domestic versus what
Wild,
makes
yeah,
it
yeah.
wild.
If it was domesticated at one point, is it
Yeah.
not anymore?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
This goes into probably one of my favorite people on earth, Forrest Galante. He's
Yeah.
wildlife expert and basically specializes in finding extinct species,
Endangered, yeah.
which is just like so cool. And he had a show pre-COVID, one of my favorite shows, Extinct or Alive. He goes into like how there's no real scientific reason for calling species extinct. They basically say we haven't seen one in probably 15, 20 years.
That's my point.
It's probably
That's
gone.
yeah. That
So,
I've learned.
I get where
Literally,
you're
we
coming
were.
from.
I was just talking to Ray and Kelly about this the other day, where we were talking about like conception date versus. So there's the day you had sex, there's
Yeah.
the day that the sperm connects to the egg, and then the timeline. And everyone's
Yeah.
always like, "Oh, you're pregnant for 9 months. 9 months will technically be 36 weeks. 40 weeks is a pregnancy. You're pregnant for 4 weeks." And so like, there's this whole like, where did the number start? And like, we were talking about that where I was like, "Well, how many weeks is she from what day?" And they're like, "Oh, from this day." And I was like, "But literally, like my dumb self, I was like, but didn't you say that you guys like the conception date was like on a weekend?" Which again, I know that like, the sperm can live inside and conceive technically can happen days after
Yeah.
sex, but it has to happen sometime from sex to conception, right? Kaylee and Rand go to this thing where they're like, no, you calculate pregnancy date by date of last period to next period, and you split the math, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, so you're telling me that if you have sex not at all on the first half of your non-period 3 weeks, and then you have sex in the second half, you didn't even have sex that day, but we're just calling that day the conception day? Like, you could have literally not had sperm meet the egg for another, like, 7 to 12 days. Like, a full 2 weeks almost. And they were just like, that's how they do it. I was like, who's they? Like, that doesn't make sense. I'm like, I'm talking about us. I'm like, for Rand, it was weird because I was like, I'm not trying to get too much in your business, but like, you told me specifically this was the weekend that it happened. Conception was probably someday along here. From that day, you're this many weeks along. And they both were like, no, she's 20 weeks from this day. I was like, oh my fucking God. I was like, I can't with you guys. I can't. I was like, literally, like, you guys are not hearing what I'm saying. I was like, you didn't even have sex in that day. You had sex after that. I was like, it does not make sense. And they were like, well, that's the day the pregnancy starts. And then Kaylee went in to try to explain the 36 to 40 thing. And I was like, that's exactly right. She was like, yeah, but then that's why, like, you don't tell people. And I was like, okay, so then after the first 4 weeks being pregnant, you start over and count over at week 1 again? And she was like, well, no. And I was like, right, because you're pregnant for 40 fucking weeks. I was like, dog, like, this is black and white, and you guys are trying to make it not black and white, and you're pissing me off. This is how I feel, like, just like Forrest said, just like the wild cows. I feel like they were just like, well, technically, when you do the math of number of cows divided by number of countries, and then they were like, it's below 0.1, so fuck it, they're extinct. Like, there's no more. And that's where I feel like this is. Me and Forrest are on the same page. I want to talk to Forrest about the wild cow scenario.
Let's get him on.
Yeah, dude, that episode 50. It's a big deal. Can you help us out, please? But yeah, so with that being said, I'm going to jump for more than a second. I'm going to do something else that I forget, and I'm going to find a wild cow. I'm gonna jump over a wild cow for 1 second, and that'll be the fucking viral video of 2025 for me. It'll be my goal.
All right.
Yeah, we have to get.
We appreciate you. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if I'm gonna be ready to record Sunday night or not.
I was gonna say, yeah, I don't know. We'll probably take Sunday night off, especially because it's our 50th episode. Yeah, you could be really bad or really happy. Like, if you're fucking on cloud 9, you're gonna be like, fuck yeah, let's do an episode, dog. I'll drive down, let's do it in person. Like, yeah, you'll be hyped Sunday night, but also I want you to be able to, like, take it in and enjoy it and appreciate it. So whether or not if you want to record or not, we can honestly do it that way. If the Eagles lose, we won't record. If they do win, then fuck it, why not? Just ride your victory lap and go on. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
It's to be announced.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. Dude, you remember Brianna Mole from elementary school?
Yes.
Her daughter is in kindergarten with Joe.
Oh, wow.
Got an invite for a birthday party. Sunday, February 9th. I was like, no, dude. It's from 1 to 3, but I was like, I almost had to decline a birthday invite for Super Bowl Sunday. Like, that's crazy to me. Like, I know not everyone celebrates it religiously, but like, I think Monday should be a national fucking holiday. Like, it should just, like, I would rather have Monday off than President's Day. Take President's Day and move it to the Monday after the Super Bowl always. President's Day should always be the Monday after the Super Bowl.
Why can't the NFL move the Super Bowl to President's Day?
Whatever. I don't care. What already got bumped a week. It used to always be first Sunday in February. Right. Now it's second Sunday in February because of the extra week. So, yeah, I don't care how they do it. Just fucking move one of them so that people have off on Monday, because that's ghetto as hell to make people. My first day at my new job is Monday. I got to enjoy the Super Bowl and then be like, oh, cool, I start work tomorrow. Like, it's at least exciting, but yeah. You literally, it's like, great, this is fucking hype.
Just sniffing salts.
time to hit my NyQuil and go to bed. So, yeah, so that'll be fun. But, yeah, Super Bowl, I'm super excited for. We'll see how it goes. We'll play it by ear and see how it goes. But, yeah, I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for your Eagles. Hoping for you guys to bring one home.
Nervous, but optimistic.
Yeah, you're at least there. You're playing in it. Your season's not over.
You got a shot. That's all that matters.
Yeah, you got a chance. So you're saying there's a chance.
We appreciate you guys. Like, subscribe, rate, all the fun things.
Do it up.
We'll potentially see you Sunday night.
Later.